Move over, Star Wars. Star Trek has its very own lightsabers, but which weapon reigns supreme? When you think of elegant weapons from a more civilized age, it's hard not to picture a Jedi raising a lightsaber skyward. Star Wars' iconic plasma blade has defined the idea of a science fiction sword for decades. But Star Trek, often painted as Star Wars' cerebral cousin, has its own arsenal of glowing melee weapons. While Trek has never leaned on flashy duels as much as George Lucas's saga, that doesn't mean it's without its own lightsaber-worthy contenders. In fact, Star Trek has birthed a range of blades that deserve to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Jedi's favorite toy. So, move aside, lightsabers. Let's explore Star Trek's versions of the glowing blade and see which one actually reigns supreme in a galaxy full of phasers, warp cores, and Klingon honor. The Sword of Kallus, the original holy relic. Long before Jedi Knights carried kyber crystals, the Klingons had their own mythic blade, the Sword of Kallus. Forged over 1,000 years before the time of Captain Kirk, this weapon was created by the legendary Klingon warrior Kallus himself. More than just a weapon, it was a symbol of unity, empire, and the warrior ethos. The sword wasn't an energy weapon like a lightsaber, but it radiated the same kind of mythic aura. Whoever wielded it was destined for greatness or destruction. When Worf and Kor uncovered it in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, it became clear the blade was too dangerous a political symbol to keep around. Unlike a lightsaber, which chooses its Jedi through the Force, the Sword of Kallus chose chaos by inspiring endless power struggles. Winner in Mythic Legacy, Sword of Kallus, the Batlith, the Klingon warrior's lightsaber equivalent. If lightsabers define Star Wars duels, then the Batlith defines Klingon culture. Its crescent-shaped frame, with deadly points and slashing edges, is an unmistakable emblem of Klingon honor and combat. Introduced in Star Trek The Next Generation, it has since become one of the most iconic melee weapons in all of Trek. Unlike the lightsaber, which seems to require years of Jedi training to master, the Batlith is a brutally physical weapon. Swinging one around isn't just about grace, it's about strength, endurance, and the ability to turn combat into an art form. Watching Worf wield a Batlith in TNG or DS9 has the same awe-inspiring effect as any lightsaber duel in Star Wars. Winner in cultural significance, Batlith. The Diki tag and Mek'leth quick and deadly. Not all Klingon weapons are giant, ceremonial blades. The DK tag dagger, with its spring-loaded side blades, is a nasty piece of work, perfect for assassinations or honor duels. Meanwhile, Worf's personal favorite, the Mek'leth, is a smaller curved sword designed for close-quarters combat. Think of these like the Star Wars double-sided or shoulder lightsabers, variations on the classic form, tailored to personal combat styles. If a lightsaber is about spectacle, then a Klingon Mek'leth is about efficiency and intimidation. Winner in practicality, Mek'leth. The energy sword of the 32nd century, Star Trek finally glows. For most of its history, Star Trek's melee weapons were forged steel, not humming plasma. That changed in Star Trek Discovery's 32nd century setting, where we finally see energy swords resembling lightsabers. These weapons, wielded by couriers and pirates, glow with energy blades that can slice and clash in dazzling duels. Were the Discovery writers taking a page from Star Wars? Almost certainly. But the result is something that feels fresh in the Trek universe, melding Trek's high-tech aesthetic with the timeless thrill of sword fighting. In terms of visuals, the energy sword is Trek's closest match to the lightsaber, and it proves the franchise isn't afraid to borrow a little flair from its galactic neighbor. Winner in cool factor, 32nd century energy sword. Phasers versus lightsabers. The big difference. Here's the key contrast. In Star Wars, melee weapons are central. In Star Trek, ranged weapons like phasers dominate. Why slash when you can vaporize? That practicality is very Star Trek, an engineering solution over romantic dueling. Still, the very fact that melee weapons persist in Trek speaks volumes about its cultures. Klingons don't fight for efficiency, they fight for honor. Romulans and Vulcans sometimes carry blades as part of their traditions. And in the far future, energy blades feel like the natural evolution of Starfleet's ever-expanding arsenal. So, while lightsabers are universally powerful and symbolic, Trek's melee weapons are more diverse. They're tied to culture, mythology, and personal expression rather than a single mystical energy field. Which weapon reigns supreme? If we're talking about pure icon status, lightsabers probably win, There's no denying their hold on pop culture. But within the Trek universe, the crown belongs to the Batlith. It's more than just a blade. It's the weapon that defines an entire civilization. When a Klingon raises a Batlith, they're not just fighting for survival. They're fighting for honor. They're